Good evening, good evening, good evening. We are back again. We thank God for God being God all by Himself. Amen. God blessed us on Sunday morning. This past Sunday morning at Ebenezer Missionary Baptist Church. We preached up there and we had a wonderful time out of the book of the Genesis story. We're still on the same path. It's a bigger picture. Amen. It's a bigger picture and we dealt with that 39th chapter, I believe. Amen. The butcher and the baker. Amen. No, I'm sorry. We dealt with the 40th chapter, the butcher and the baker. Amen. And we want to look back at that chapter again and see we can see something else in there. Amen. You always can see something in there, so we want to look back at it again and again and again and again because you always see something that you missed or just see something in there. Amen. And it's good to be here, Ebenezer, to all my brothers and sisters around Raglan, to all the people that check us out on the YouTube. It's good to be here. It's good to be here. Amen. Feel pretty good. Amen. Our birthday month. God bless. Amen. Getting a year older. Thank God. Amen. And we're going to look at the 40th chapter of uh the 40th chapter of Genesis and go down to the 16th verse. Amen. We'll pull up the 16th verse here. Uh, when the chief baker saw that the interpretation was good, he said unto Joseph, I also was in my dream, and behold, three baskets of white bread, were on my head. Amen. Uh, this is a beautiful story. I'm telling you, this Joseph maintaining his integrity. This Joseph, uh, all these people's in his care. And wherever Joseph went, God is blessing. But I come by to tell you today, you got to maintain yourself. No matter what's happening, you got to be real, preacher. Don't let yourself down. Be real in all that you do. Amen. Be real in all that you do. Don't be real some days and some days now. Be real. Amen. And it said, and it came to pass after these things that the butler of the king of Egypt and his baker offended their Lord. Uh, the king of Egypt and Pharaoh was wroth against the two officers and against the chief of the butler and against the chief of the bakers, and he put them in the ward's house of the captain of guard into the prison, the place where Joseph was bound. Amen. Put him over there with old Joseph. Hmm. And and then he wanted to know what did this dream mean. Amen. It was a dream, and they dreamed and all of that kind of stuff. So in the 16th verse, it says the chief baker, seeing Joseph's positive interpretation of the cupbearer's dream, shared his own dream, which also involved a basket and baked goods. Joseph then interpreted this dream as well, foretelling the chief baker impending execution within 3 days. Amen. Amen. The chief baker, like the chief cupbearer, had a dream that he brought that he thought Joseph could interpret. He dreamed of three baskets on his head with baked goods in the top basket being eaten by the bird. That's the chief baker's dream. And then Joseph interprets the dream. Amen. Joseph interprets the dream. Hmm. using his gift of dream interpretation. Explained that the three baskets represented 3 days. He predicted within 3 days, he predicted that within those 3 days, the chief baker will be executed and his body will be hung on a tree with the birds feeding on flesh. You got to get up out of here. Go get rid of him. Notice now, that was the Joseph interpretation of the dream, the chief baker's dream. Notice here now. Well, what can we get out of this thing, Kelly? What can I get out of here, out of this 40th chapter, book of Genesis? Amen. It teaches us about God's timing, the importance of faithfulness even in difficult circumstances, and the value of compassion and concern for others. Amen. A lot of us just ain't got no concern for ourselves, so we ain't gonna have nothing for nobody else. Amen. It highlights Joseph's unwavering faith, using of his God-given gift of dream interpretation and his ability to remain kind and caring even in prison. The chapter also demonstrates how God plan unfold through seemingly a mundane event and potential for a divine intervention in expecting ways. Amen. Brothers and my sister, God got a plan. Just make sure you get in it. Amen. What is significant of the cupbearers and the baker? What's significant about the cupbearer and the baker were significant because of their vocation, but rather because of the vocation, intimate connection to Pharaoh. Amen. They was connected to the Pharaoh. The cupbearer and the baker were two people who seen Pharaoh multiple times in one single day, attended his events, need testing his every drink, prepared his very snack. It was important. It's important. Amen. This is the amen. 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 Mm-hmm. 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 What is the meaning of the butler and the baker? What's the meaning of that, preacher? The two officials, the butler and the baker. The butler represented the wine, his blood. The baker represents the bread. His body. Joseph was in a dungeon and forgotten for 2 years, but was risen up one day to be the ruler of all the things in Egypt. I come to tell you, my brothers and sisters, if you read this old Genesis story, you'll pick up some good stuff about the events that happened, things that happened, and how things unfolded. But most of all, you'll see that though Joseph was faithful, he was a man of integrity. Amen. Uh, God's timing is perfect, faithfulness in difficult time. Amen. Amen. God's timing is perfect. Even when faced with imprisonment seemed a negative outcome, Joseph trusted in God's timing and ultimate benefit from it. This reminds us that God's plan often is not immediate, but He is working for our good even when we can't see it. You read the story, read it real closely. It's a bigger picture from him. Amen. God had to get him ready for the big picture. Faithfulness in difficult times. Joseph's unwavering faith and willingness to serve, even in prison, demonstrated the importance of staying faithful to God. Don't care what it looked like, we need to stay faithful. Amen. Regardless of the circumstance. Amen. Regardless of the circumstance. Come to take you, my brother. Amen. They do compassionate concern for others. Amen. The value of God's given gift. Divine interpretation. Trust and obedience. The importance of forgiveness. Joseph was willing to forgive the cupbearer despite his initial failure to remember Joseph demonstrates importance of forgiveness and reconciliation. I come tell you, you need to read this story now. You need to reread it and read this story. Amen. These stories here will bless you and keep you. Amen. That's enough for today. We'll get back on it again. We'll go do the whole month of June. Then we'll take a little vacation in the month of July and August. Amen. We'll be doing the being revivals and everything else then. Okay. Praying I hope we said something that'll been a blessing.